This is our folk music manuscript book. Exactly when it dates from isn't always easy. We know it belonged to a guy called Thomas Watkin who lived in Huyton. He was a surveyor. We know that he was there in the middle of the 19th century, so it certainly dates from then, but it could be earlier. It could be that Thomas was passed the book by friends, family, he maybe inherited it, he maybe wrote some of it himself. What we do know is that there's more than one hand in there, so more than one person was involved in writing the music in this book. The book contains over 300 tunes across around 150 pages. The tunes are quite often ones which are still pretty familiar to a lot of folk musicians. One of our volunteers did a lot of research trying to find examples of the tunes, and there is still a lot of examples of them. Some of them though we couldn't find examples of, so it could be that they are unique to the book, or it could just be that we haven't yet found the other versions of them. Quite often what we'll find as well is that the tunes themselves are familiar and will have been often used under different titles. So it could be that some of the titles seem unique, but actually the tunes themselves are just adapted from other familiar folk tunes. Those tunes are about a variety of different things. So we have tunes which relate to the local area, such as the Huyton Reel, Stanley's Forever, about the Stanley family of course. And in terms of the topics covered, the songs are about the kind of things we might expect. So they're about drinking, falling in love, getting married, having parties, spending time with your friends, going to sporting events. There's a lot of songs about horse racing, for example. There's also songs about sex, and there's also songs which have swear words in them. Understanding what the tunes are about does help us date somewhat the book, or at least have a more of a specific idea. Part of the reason for that is we know that during the Victorian era, a lot of folk songs were collected, and titles started to be slightly sanitised and tidied up for public consumption. So we started to find that some of the titles which had swear words were changed to make them a bit nicer, and whereas this book does have original titles with some pretty explicit words in them, so that gives us an idea that it's certainly pre that Victorian time, and that would match up with when Thomas Watkin was alive in Huyton and would have owned the book. The book is written using iron gall ink. One of the things about iron gall ink is that it can gradually deteriorate paper and damage it over the course of time. This book thankfully has had some conservation work done, so it means it's able to be preserved for much longer. We've given it a new binding, we've lined some of the pages. But one of the impacts of iron gall ink is it kind of has left traces of notes on different pages, and this is actually quite a beautiful, if unintentional, effect. So you get these almost ghost notes appearing across the pages. The book's a really beautiful thing. It is one of my favourite things in the archive. I'm really excited that after 150 years or so, this music's being brought back to life